Hello everybody, this is Tiniestofchibis, and I think this is episode 6, if I'm not mistaken. I am running about, trying to see what I can do. I'm grabbing some things. I didn't do this before, when I was first playing this game. Those are Prawn, Ricky, and... just kind of do that. I'll leave you guys
Last
alone.
warning, sir.
I'm leaving. I'm sorry. I just wanted to, have some of your stuff. I don't want to get into anything. I'm not going to bother you. I just kind of want to check some stuff because I didn't do that before. I didn't look around last time. Serious. Kind of scared. Resistance. What the hell? I'm hearing some type of noise. Maybe I'll go back. There's more stuff to do at the hospital anyway. I'm getting too scared, I'll be honest. I just want to check to see if there's anything to grab and grab more things. I'd rather spend my time at the hospital personally. The hospital doesn't need me. Like, the other places don't need me anyway. The hospital needs me more than anything else. Hospital, please go back home. I want to try to get everything settled away and done with. If I can help people, that'll be nice. I want to talk to everybody too. Who's this person?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Flattery is useless.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I know you guys don't see
I
it,
based
but,
my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
well, that is true.
What can you tell
You
me
need
about
to
the
get,
Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
That's what I'm looking for.
But with your arrival, I can't think of a better
consent.
opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Whenever you're testing anything new.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
There's the other doctor.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansey's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansey has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
No need for such animosity.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Like, he might be snippy, but he's actually a really good doctor, and, you know, that's not
Since
a bad
your
thing.
tenure in this hospital
You don't
is
have to
longer
be a
than
good,
mine,
like,
perhaps you can tell me more about
you know,
this
a
place.
good person
Let's
to be a
just
good
say
doctor.
I'm tired
Yeah.
of the carelessness
As long as
around
he
me.
cares about people. Which he
I have
does.
always respected the skills of Dr. Swansey, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
It's true. And that's why you're always supposed to get consent whenever trying anything that is crazy. You have to be like, look, this is something we've never tried before. We need your consent to say that you are agreeing with it. If you don't want it, we won't test it, but it needs to
Tell
be your
me,
decision.
Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish? Is your wife blinding you?
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
You will assume the consequences. I trust your judgment. I really do. I do like this dude because, like, I don't know if he's, like, okay, I get where he's coming from, and I'm actually more lenient towards him than the other dude. Because while the other dude does have a new method and stuff, and learning new methods is cool and good, but, you should always ask the patient first. And sometimes risking, a lot of the experimental stuff that we do know nowadays is mostly because of all the atrocities and the things that were picked up from the Second War. So there's a lot of stuff that we learned from the Second War, from the darker sides. You will assume the consequences. Experiment point of view. Honestly, I do trust
I really
this.
hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I thought I heard my cat, that's why I was like checking. I wonder if she might be outside. Did I let her outside? I don't remember. No.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Honestly, like, there's a lot of atrocities,
Thank you for your
in the
time.
past.
We'll talk later.
From but we did learn a lot from it. And as much as I don't like it, or much as a lot of people don't like it, it's something.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
As long as they don't get mad at me.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
How's Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
They keep running about. Okay, so this is the patient they were talking about, Frank or whatever.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
How much time has it been? We still got time.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Because he's a vampire.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
It's sad truth. There's always gonna be people like that who disagree with things like that.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so
Why
guilty
does
about
that
it?
to me?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
That's a very sad truth.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Yeah, because I think, if I remember correctly, the second war was a little later than that, because the 20s were, you know, where everyone was chilling, and then the second war. So I think the first, before the second war was the, so this, it's got to be World War One. So this is happening before the Nazis were a thing.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
That is a good thing, you know. I'm pretty sure if she had, he would have been more wrecked. I can't imagine. Like,
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I've had a lot of people in my family die,
Reads me like a
but
book.
not really any that I've
Never
really
could
been
keep anything from her.
fully attached to. It's kind of been like, okay,
Will this shift never end?
I shall be slightly sad, but I am not fully sad enough to care.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Is it personal? Nothing personal? see anything in here.
Thank
Maybe
you
I'll
for your
talk to-
time.
What's his name?
We'll talk later.
Where the hell is he? There he is. Hello, crazy dude. I need to talk to you.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
It's probably a personal question. Nope. Okay.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
I don't think so. I mean, it's a very... Like, both of them are arguing for both...
Goodbye, Dr.
For
Strickland.
two different sides of the same argument. Yeah, they both want the right thing, but I feel like he's the one that's all like, yes, you have to push forward to get new places, but at the same time, you can't completely justify, you know, going crazy.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr.
There's a
Reed.
very fine line of going too modern and too crazy. It's a very thin line. And if you're not
Thank you
careful,
for your time. We'll talk later.
you can end up killing somebody. It's not something that you should just take for granted.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Do you have anything for me to talk about? No. I need to find something to do
Goodbye for now,
about it.
Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down,
Yeah,
my
talk to more
boy.
people. Her. Him. I'm not careful to sick enough. I need to go to the backyard garden, which is where's the girlfriend? Yeah, here she
Good
is.
evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients.
I should
We
have
are
just like,
running
get a
out of
grip before I
everything.
went and did it.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual. especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Trying to
Goodbye,
get
Nurse
through
Hawkins.
this. She and from what I remember, when I played, like, 'cause I only played where I talked to a bunch of people and stuff. I'm gonna have to actually end this episode here though, because the alarm's going off. But for now, Tiniestofchibis is signing out.